Hi! So, I've just been at the back of Monsieur Spoon, for those of you who are in Bali and know this area, and I have been having some amazing conversations with people about their journey through the stages of life, right? So I wanted to share something that I got with talking to them. It's an analogy like like a tree. A human life is like a tree. Sounds kind of so twee, but you see, we tend to relate to our lives like we're actually living a unique life that's all of our own, and we have a personality that reflects that life. So our personality is a reflection of our experiences in the past and what we bring in, and some mishmash of stuff, and that makes us who we really are. And they're very attached to that concept of a personality, that this is who we are. I'm here to tell you, it's not that simple, or in fact it's probably a lot simpler, because your personality is the lowest form of who you really are. It's the piece, if you imagine an iceberg, it's the tip of the iceberg. It's the piece of you that says least about actually what's going on, and most about what's actually just kind of floating through your mind at any one time. And we kind of love to give it numbers and letters and call it, I don't even know them, the personality testing. But underneath your personality, there's something vastly more important and indicative about who you are in the world, and that is your temperament. Now, where there's one personality for every single individual on the planet, there are only 4 temperaments. The 4 temperaments that were distinguished by Herodotus in 800 BC are still fairly consistent today. You have your choleric, who is quite forward-looking and quite decisive. I call them the general. You have your sanguine, who is like me, quite kind of light-footed, creative, hard to pin down, hard to focus. That's me. I call them the lover because that's what they're like. And then you have the phlegmatic, who is someone who is focused on delivery and very, very good at just doing the same thing and loving doing kind of detailed, focused, consistent work. There are also people who are extraordinarily powerful at understanding what's going on in the world around them, but they don't always share a great deal about it, so you have to ask them a lot of questions. Then you have the 4th temperament, which I don't have a lot of phlegmatic, so I struggle to describe it particularly well sometimes. The 4th one is your melancholic, of which I do have an element of, which is someone who thinks and feels very, very deeply. They're the thinker. They're the people who think deeply about stuff. Most of our lawyers and accountants and doctors are those people. Most of our geniuses are those people. There are also people who feel extraordinarily deeply. So they're willing to go places with other human beings in terms of feelings and emotions that the sanguine wouldn't even notice is there, and the cleric would be like, get over yourself, and the phlegmatic would be kind of repulsed, like, I don't have to deal with your stuff. The melancholic is willing to go all the way down and pull them all the way back up. They're an extraordinary group of people. In fact, all 4 temperaments are quite extraordinary, and they say a lot more about how we meet the world than, for example, our personality, which doesn't actually tell you a great deal. My son, who is 7 years old, meets the world as a cleric. He's very cleric. He gets angry quickly, he lets it go quickly. It's very frustrating as a parent to deal with a child like that sometimes, but I can tell you if he doesn't react that way to the world in any given moment, then I get worried and I take him to hospital, because that's how he is about the world. If he didn't react that way, I'd be concerned. You see, if people don't act in their personality type, you don't even notice because there's this stuff going on. But if people don't act the way you expect them to react to the world, that like the way they consistently react to the world, you get consistently worried, because it's a much deeper indicator of who they really are. That's level 2. There is a 3rd level, which is completely not unique to you in any shape, way or form, and that is your life phase. Now, I'll get back to the tree analogy. Just like a tree, where you plant the seed, and if you water it and give it enough sun, and the soil is right, it will grow the way that tree is meant to grow. An oak tree grows the way an oak tree grows, and a pawpaw the way the pawpaw grows. There is an archetype to that tree, or there is an archetype to the growth of a plant. In the same way, there is an archetype to a human life. A human life follows certain stages that are consistent throughout all time, all history, and all cultures, and will never change. I assume they will never change. They never have before. Those are the stages of a human life. We have no problem with a human being that turns 7 and loses their teeth, and turns 14 and stands up to their parents, and turns 21 and becomes independent, and turns 28 and discovers who they really are in the world to express, and becomes 35 and loses who they are. They don't know who they're going to be anymore. They need to rediscover it again. Then they hit 42. They start to discover who they really are and what they're going to express back into the world, and so on and so forth, until eventually they hit 70 and they become a child of God, and their karmic journey is complete. One of my clients is 71. She's declared that she's having a midlife crisis at 71, which is just awesome. But she's complete. She calls it the karmic playground. There's still stuff to do. She's still a human being, but she's completed the full arc of her journey. She's a fully grown tree. Now, the human life operates the same way. There are consistent archetypal processes that you just have to go through, and the more you understand what they are, the clearer you are about what's actually happening to you. I had a client, well, actually she's not a client, but she's a friend of mine that I spoke to just today on that bench, and she's 38 years old and she's having a bad day. She's a colleague of mine and is a thought leader in her own right and exceptional in her realm, but she's struggling with it because it's not enough. Now, she's 38. Of course it's not enough. She's 38 years old. She feels like she's having a bad day, or a series of bad days, but actually there's a lot more to it. She's 38 years old, and for the first time, she's in the archetypal process at 38, she realizes that everything that she's built on who she is up until now, everything that she's crafted her identity to be, all the growth and the expansion that she's lived of her life, family, career, job, schooling, everything has reached a natural endpoint, which it does at 35. And now she's entering a new phase and she doesn't know who the hell she's meant to be. She doesn't know who to be because everything she's known to be is no longer sufficient. Now she thinks there's something going on with her. There's something wrong. There's something going on with her business. Why aren't I enjoying this like I used to? Why am I feeling this way? She's meant to. She's not meant to know who she's meant to be right now because she's 38 years old and she's at the beginning of that journey of rediscovery, the discovery of yourself as an elder for the second half of your life. So understanding that what you're dealing with is not just what you're dealing with on a day-to-day level, like a personality, mindset, let's make ourselves stronger, forward fast mindset. It's not that. Temperaments helps because temperaments can tell you a little bit about how you meet the world, how you deal with disappointments, how you deal with excitement, how you deal with challenges. But the deep one, the really powerful one, is your life phase. And this is the one that tells you how you where you're at in this stage of your life that you're meant to be at, that underpins everything about your experience of life and what you're dealing with life and what you're doing. Now there's one more and that's where we go in our program, right? We help you distinguish those 4 levels, and the 3rd level is your life phase, so you understand where you're at in your life right now and how you're meant to be feeling. And this isn't going to make it any less comfortable. Talking to her, she felt lit up, inspired, and kind of committed to finding a connection with her soul's journey that she hadn't had before. But it doesn't make her life any easier. She still has to go through it. It's just that she knows what's going on, she has power over it, and she can do it really, really well. She can distinguish the soul's journey that she's on so that she can craft the second half of her life from that perspective. Thanks, Tamsin. Thanks for sharing. That's awesome. So the last thing is your life's purpose. That's the 4th one. And again, that becomes unique. So just like at the top, your personality is unique, your temperaments are not unique, there's only 4. Your life's phases, journey is not unique, there's only 1, they're all the same. Well, the final one is your life's purpose, and that is unique. Once more, it's yours. I was talking to a Catholic guy who's looking at doing this program the other day, and he uses the terminology, the hand of God, which is appropriate, that's fine. The hand of God, or the purpose of your soul, or your life's journey, or whatever you want to call it. You were given one gift to explore in this life, and in the second half of your life, once you hit 35, you then explore for the next 7 years, 35 to 42, how you're going to share that back into the world. The quicker you can distinguish what that gift is and what it is that's uniquely yours, the more powerfully you can give it back, the more sense of satisfaction, freedom, joy you're going to have in your life, and the more fulfilling it's going to be, and also the bigger impact you're going to have. And I mean a real impact, right? Not like Facebook Lives like this, like how many people you can reach. God, it's not that. It's like a full self-expression of yourself, right, in the world. So that's basically the whole program that we deliver, but it's also, more importantly, kind of a process through which a human being actually experiences life and the journey that we're on in this life. So I hope that's been useful to you. I was just prompted to do it after these calls. I'm sure there's a lot more that I wanted to say, but and I will say some more. So thanks for listening, Tamsin, and whoever else is on the Facebook Live. And see you in the next post. There will be more. Ciao. Let your friends know. I'm going to start doing videos now. I've discovered videos. Bye.